This program was made possible by Kunayak Incorporated. Thank you, Kunayak, for your generous support.
Heartbeat Alaska is brought to you in part by Brown's Electric Lighting Gallery. Thank you, Brown's Electric, for your generous support of Heartbeat Alaska.
Heartbeat Alaska is also sponsored by the Norton Sound Economic Development Corporation, serving the fisheries of the Bering Strait region.
Heartbeat Alaska is also brought to you by Frontier Flying Service. Thank you, Frontier, for getting Heartbeat Alaska airborne.
This program is also brought to you by ASRC Energy Services, a subsidiary of Arctic Slope Regional Corporation. Heartbeat Alaska is also made possible through the support of Norton Sound Health Corporation.
I can make a difference. I am a commercial fisherman. I am a tribal leader. I know how to work together and bring people together. I'm running because I've been down to Juneau several times in the past few years, and I think we need a change of leadership down there. I have the experience of economic development in rural Alaska and providing health care in rural Alaska, and we need to make sure these rural areas continue to exist. I'm Robert Moos Henrich, and I approve this ad. I can make a difference.
Flying in Alaska? Fly Frontier, the official airline of Heartbeat Alaska. Frontier is expanding again. They've added new routes to Nome, Kotzebue, and the surrounding villages. As you can see, Frontier is now really covering Alaska. So the next time you fly, try Frontier. Frontier offers quick, convenient check-in, low fares, and service direct to many of the villages. Frontier Flying Service is the official airline of Heartbeat Alaska. Make it your official airline too.
Most mainlanders will call us Imarmi, people of the sea.
It's Wednesday morning, September 24th, 2003, an important day for the people of Diomede. It's the one day a week that mail, food, and supplies are flown into the village. And it's also the one day that residents can travel to and fro from their village. You see, the village of Diomede is located on the island of Little Diomede in Soolook, 28 miles off the coast of mainland Alaska and 1.25 miles from Soviet waters. Behind Little Diomede sits the island of Big Diomede. Separating the two islands is the international date line, the line between Soviet and American waters. It's also the place where time changes. What do I mean by that? Well, if it's 12 o'clock Wednesday afternoon on Little Diomede, then it's 11 a.m. Thursday morning on Big Diomede. If you're in a boat between the two islands floating on the international dateline, you can actually go back in time. When the Iron Curtain was formed, Big Diomede became a Soviet military base, and all residents living on the island at the time were moved to mainland Russia. During World War II, Little Diomede residents who strayed into Soviet waters were taken captive. Today, there is a small but constant military presence on Big Diomede. At the top of Little Diomede Island, the winds often blow in excess of 50 miles an hour, making for a bumpy ride. And just as you think you're going to be blown away, you reach the edge and you look down in amazement and wonder at the tiny village perched on the cliffs. Located on the west coast of Little Diomede Island in the Bering Straits sits the community of Diomede, home to over 130 residents, mostly Alaska Native or part Native. The Umiak people of Diomede depend almost entirely upon a subsistence economy for their livelihood because employment is limited to the city and school. Edward Soolook holds a pretty important position in this community, maintaining the generators that provide electricity to Diomede.
I work for the power plant operator. When I have time, I go down there and monitor. I just check the control panel, all the numbers, see if it's running right. Phases, 3 phases. Add oil if you need oil, coolant level, that's what I look for.
And to keep the generators running smoothly, Edward sings to them in Umiak. Orville Ahkinga Jr., or Oj, as most people know him, does a majority of the electrical work around Diomede and has been extremely busy with the Rural Cap Housing Project.
Mainly these are home improvements on the Rural Cap. And they're fixing the homes that really needed improvements or get up to code and wiring or something. Yeah. I've been doing this 13 years. I work with the power plant and manage the utilities. Somehow I managed to, I wasn't looking at this job, but somehow I end up getting on it, doing the work for the people here. But I like wiring, and that's what I do.
Currently, Edward is working with Orville on the Rural Cat project, doing home improvements and remodeling. Normally this time of year, people are gearing up for hunting.
Only come fall time this time of year. Try to take the weekends off to go hunting. I like to hunt better in fall time, where there's more game. Right now, it's still kind of scarce. The seals aren't around yet. Not too many.
I'd say Diomede is a better part subsistence. It's not as strong as it used to have been, though, you know. It's still very important for the people that are doing it now. They realize what benefits they get off it.
Little Diomede is home to thousands of birds, which provide eggs and meat for the residents. Bearded and spotted seal find refuge on the islands, as well as walrus, and are taken for their meat and skins. During the winter, polar bear roam the ice packs and are hunted for their meat and fur. Bowhead and beluga whales are hunted from the edge of the ice packs and are a preferred food. Andrew Kunayak is one of the many hunters here in Diomede. Today, Andrew is taking the North Trail in search of seal. Along the cliffs, several blinds have been built for hunting. But Andrew picks a new spot and now must build his own blind. By stacking rocks on top of each other, Andrew will have a place to stay out of the wind and stay hidden from his prey. For Andrew, this is a way of life that was passed on to him by his elders. With a lack of jobs in the community, a subsistence way of life is essential for everyone.
Yes, I've been, I cook for my parents too, so when they were living, so I love cooking. I don't know why. This is walrus heart. And then this spring, and cut it up into the pot size, and Ziploc and freeze it. So they always come in handy like that. I never try to overcook the walrus heart. When you cook them too long, they get real hard. Yeah, gotta cook them just right too.
Frances Ozenna has a busy day ahead of her. 2 days ago, her husband caught a spotted seal that needs to be cleaned and put away. For the next few hours, Frances will be busy preparing barrel foods.
First, we're going to go downstairs and look at the barrel food I put away. I worked on the spring. And there's going to be, I'll explain to you what's in there and how I prepared them as I pull them out for an elder.
I'm an Alaska native and I live a healthy lifestyle. I don't need tobacco. It's not hard. I spend time with my family. I spend time outside. I love life, and tobacco's not a part of it.
This message brought to you by the Alaska Department of Health and Human Services and Eastern Aleutian Tribes.
LAB Flying Services is the largest and oldest airlines in Southeast Alaska with a varied fleet of single and twin-engine aircrafts. If you want to go someplace in Southeast Alaska, LAB Flying Services can get you there. Become an LAB frequent flyer and receive free tickets. For further details, call us at 907-766-2222 or visit us on the web at www.labflying.com. LAB. Try us, fly us.
I can make a difference. I am a commercial fisherman. I am a tribal leader. I know how to work together and bring people together. I'm running because I've been down to Juneau several times in the past few years, and I think we need a change of leadership down there. I have the experience of economic development in rural Alaska and providing health care in rural Alaska, and we need to make sure these rural areas continue to exist. I'm Robert Moos Henrich, and I approve this ad. I can make a difference.
Store foods throughout the year and are usually kept outside.
This is where my barrels are. They're lined on the outside because they're so old, but it's not. It's got thick plastic on the inside because I can't use it. You know, it will leak if I put seal oil in it. So those are old barrels. I wish I had more light down here. Okay, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put in my walrus kidney I cooked, half dried. I cooked them, cut them, and put them in. And then I'll pull out what I have in here. Okay, inside the barrel is sterile seal oil. And the first thing I'm gonna pull out is, they call this coke, and that's walrus skin with a little bit of blubber. Cooked, then put in. And this is dry meat from Umiak. And this is half-dry seal rib.
Back inside the house, we get a better look at some of the native foods Frances has stored in the barrel.
This is what we call coke. Walrus skin. See, there's the piece of the blubber. This is the hand of the walrus. This is the here, let me find a better one. It's not, this is kind of dark. Right here's we call mamoon. It's breast milk, walrus. A little bit of blubber on top and a little bit of the meat. And this is the kidney I put in, half-dried kidney, walrus kidney. And there's the braided half-dried intestines.
The seal meat must now be cut into manageable pieces and the meat cut away from the blubber.
I'm taking off the extra meat that was left on there. So I want to have this blubber to make more seal oil and blubber, because I don't got enough seal oil for the winter.
But first, the skin, which will be used for clothing, must be separated from the blubber. Nothing will go to waste on this animal. Even the intestines are used.
This is seal blubber, extra seal oil. I want to make an extra blubber. Of course, the top is dry. I'm not going to keep that, but I'll keep what's underneath. And here is the seal heart, which my husband got a seal a couple days ago, and I'm going to fry that up. I'm going to rinse these, and I'm going to hang the intestines up. 2 ways you can do with seal intestines is hang them dry and the kids eat them after you rinse them, or you braid them up and cook them in with your seal meat, and it'll be boiled. Usually I'm pretty fast at these. It's a little sticky too. The biggest part about living in Diomede is subsistence. I was told in the past, before we changed our lifestyle, that it was really important to learn how to survive in Diomede. I started late in life. I started maybe when my kids were just toddlers, my first 3. And normally they would start as early as 5, 6 years old. And I didn't. It just, part of me just wasn't ready to learn. But when I learned to preserve food, you know, I started late, but I enjoyed it. I'm not just talking about just barrel food. I'm talking about fermenting, you know, gathering greens, crabs, freezing stuff for, you know, to eat later during the winter.
There are 2 stores in Diomede, but prices are high due to the cost of shipping. And there are often times when bad weather keeps flights out of Diomede for weeks on end.
The hardest part is traveling. Going out of Diomede is easy, but trying to come back is really tough. You can get stranded in wells for weeks or months.
On September 25th, an 8.0 earthquake struck Japan. A tsunami warning was issued all the way from the Seward Peninsula north to Little Diomede. When news hit Diomede, the siren was sounded in town and the men began moving boats up onto higher ground. Preparation is the key to survival in the Bering Straits. Fortunately, a tsunami never formed. It's easy to see how different and sometimes complex it can be to live in Diomede. From the limited barge service to the seasonal plane service, living on Little Diomede has its challenges.
Well, you have to learn how to live with your basics because it's hard to get stuff out here and it's really expensive. You have to be able to handle all the isolation because we don't have everyday mail service. We don't have everyday airplanes like all the other villages. And the past year or so, we don't even have any kind of communication with Alaska because we don't get the ARCS channel. And all our satellite TV comes from California.
Perhaps their limited contact with the outside keeps them more grounded in their own culture. They were raised on the foundation of a subsistence lifestyle. They know how to read the water and the sky. They know where to find myrrh eggs, and they know how to survive on the place some call the rock.
You have to know the current. You have to know the weather situation. Why is the clouds are forming? Why are they dying down? Which way is the wind blowing? Is the most important things out here where the weather always a thing that we have to rely on, especially the current.
From the elders to the youth, and so on, the ways of the Igmangmiut have been passed down from generation to generation. Orville Sr. recalls the first time he went hunting with the adults and elders.
By my youngest time, I think I remember when I was about 16 or 17. I think that's the first time I went with the hunting crew. I remember the elders were in charge, really. Now it's, I spent some times in the military. It was like military. You got to have discipline in the boat. You got to be organized. You got to be prepared for anything. So the elders those days were the strict people. They know how it's done, you know, the proper way. Mainly it's survive, how to survive, how to make a living, how to prepare for the upcoming weather situation and stuff like that. We have to be prepared, you know, those days. There were 3 villages here on it. When I was growing up, there were 3 villages, existing villages, one up the north side of Big Diomede, one on the other side, the main village, and this village over here. So these 2 islands were pretty much together. They have the same language, same way of living. Then. So we have relatives from there, so pretty close those days. They have to make their own clothes. I was growing up, we hardly have any boots like we have now, like tennis shoes, where you don't see any tennis shoes. Most of them is sealskin, what you use in the wintertime. Sealskin and caribou for parka and all the furs and stuff they traded from the mainland. When I was growing up, there wasn't any television or even a radio, you know. So we sat down and listened to our grandfathers telling stories. It might be fictional type of stories in Eskimo way. In our way, and usually there'll be a mystery or so, you know. It's like reading a book or watching television. Some stories along, it might take 4 days for one good story to be told.
Back on the North Trail, Andrew has spotted a walrus lazily floating up the coast. Andrew does his best to wake the sleeping beast, but he is downwind of the walrus, and the wind is blowing a steady 15 knots. After a half hour of waiting for the walrus to drift closer, Andrew takes aim. Although the walrus has lived to see another day, it may soon again meet Andrew now that spring is approaching, and it might not be so lucky next time.
To purchase a VHS copy of this program, have your credit card number ready and call area code 907-563-7440 or mail $20 check or money order to Jeannie Green Productions, 6216 Old Seward Highway, Anchorage, Alaska 99518. Ask for the program number listed below.